All right, let's just do this other one real quick.
Sure.
Just the idea that, like, everyone thinks free speech lives on the right. And what got me started on this is, like, you know, Matt Gaetz crash and burn. What a shock. So then he picks this Pam Bondi girl, and she wants to arrest and even deport people. Again, I'm not debating if it can happen. She's a moron, and I don't think it's gonna. But she wants to arrest and deport Palestinian protesters. And so, like, where do we think this idea that free speech lives on the right comes from? I think it comes from, and we kind of talked about it in the first topic here, the smokescreen of the culture war. And in that smokescreen, somehow they get, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts at all? I'm at a loss. Like, they don't allow people to be who they want to be, identity-wise. Yes, by the way, out there, gender and identity are different. Fucking read a book. So they don't let people be who they want identity-wise. They don't want people protesting things they don't like. Why? Why do we think this way?
It is interesting, right? Because, like, obviously their argument would be, well, Hamas is a terrorist group. If you're here on a visa as a student and you're openly like, I support Hamas, then you shouldn't be allowed to.
Where's the due process there? I don't understand.
Well, so that is objectively not free speech then, because you can be a Nazi in this country and you can talk about being a Nazi all day and nobody's talking about throwing you in jail or removing you from the country, and I don't think that they should. So,
Yep.
It is weird. It's a weird.
So frustrating.
I don't know.
And I'm not going to
sit
here.
Is
yep.
An empty threat? Do you think this is just rhetoric?
Because Trump's
what I mean?
first administration got absolutely nothing done, and because I need to hear a plan to really believe in something. Yes, I think it's empty. Because what's the plan? What's the plan? You're going to trot these people in front of judges who, sure, some of them were appointed by Trump, but a lot weren't. So what's the plan?
Yeah.
And they're going to toss these? It's like, and then the first one that gets tossed, you're going to try to petition it to the Supreme Court? Like, what are you doing? Like, really? It just makes no sense. Everyone knows that Trump wanted to shoot Black Lives Matter protesters back in 2020. He's such a piece of crap. But again, the point isn't that he's a piece of crap. That is known by everyone. The point is, why do we feel like he's a free speech warrior? He's not.
Yeah.
The right is not. And I think... I'm not saying that the left is also free speech warriors. Give me a break. Like, we can criticize where it's due. But the feeling on the internet of right wing is free speech is like so dumb. So dumb. Dude, Elon Musk is like the champion of like, free speech. It's like, okay. And then you let like Nazis onto your platform to spread Nazi stuff. It's like, I guess we could even get into a debate about that, because I think that he should be able to do that. And I think that ultimately it might be part of his company's downfall. But again, it just sucks that it feels like everyone's like, oh, the right, free speech. It's like, okay, sure.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
it's
I am someone who loves Jesus, and that is my beliefs. And then someone else comes in and says, well, I was born one gender, but my identity is not that gender, so I changed. And they're like, how dare you? I'm allowed to be who I want to be. You're not allowed to be who you want to be. It's like, oh, great. I didn't know that's what we were fucking doing here. Now that I know, I'll go fuck myself in the corner and kill myself, because a lot of these people who aren't allowed to transition have mental issues. These are facts. Way higher suicide rate than a lot of communities. So, again, we've had this discussion so many times in the past. It reminds me that people make these arguments in ways where they try to code it so they don't seem like bigots, but they're bigots. That's what the fuck they are. They're bigots. There's no two ways about it. If you don't accept people for who they are, even if you don't agree with them, you're a fucking bigot. That's what you are. And it's just so frustrating, man.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating.
I also don't really buy the whole leftists are censoring people thing. I think that's a
so
dumb
dumb.
talking point.
That's
Because
such a
the only
dumb
places that this is happening, quote unquote, is on social media, and that's not. I just don't buy that has to be the place where the public conversation is paramount.
No, that
right?
would
Like,
be so
these are
ugly if
private
it was.
companies. They're trying to sell ads. Like, this is a business. I don't know. It's just weird. It feels like that's where the whole critique comes from. And then you could argue in academia, maybe there's people who are censored, which to me would be more problematic than fucking Facebook or Twitter. Like, who gives a shit? The online space is not the real world, and I feel like people. It
Yeah.
sucks to me that we're conceding so much power to Twitter and Facebook as that being the place where we have our conversations. It shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah, and
So,
it matters
I
the
don't know. I
discussion.
get sick of it.
It matters the topics you bring up. Meaning, like, I can have a private, respectful conversation with someone who doesn't like certain kinds of woke people. Okay, we can talk about that and how some of them are probably trash bags. And maybe some people have been affected by, like, leftist wokeism. But that is not a priority of a problem. You give air to what I think priorities should be. And that is such a, like, are you fucking kidding me? We've got people saying that certain protesters who tend to lean more left should be jailed for exercising their right to speech. And we're talking about people who canceled Aaron Rodgers, even though he's making $40 million a year. Suck my balls. Like,
Yeah, you did
what
get
you choose to
canceled.
talk about matters. And if you're talking about that, you're bullshitting. It's another smokescreen. You're absolutely bullshitting. And it's just, it's so frustrating. I don't think I hear that a lot from, like, political commentators or people in the media, where it's like, you have to, if you're trying to do right by society and discussions and change and pushing forward, you have to choose what you're discussing about. Lower problems are lower problems. Higher problems are fucking higher problems. So, and look, nobody's getting jailed for protesting about Palestine yet. So that's in the same vein as, like, Aaron Rodgers being canceled, suck my fucking asshole. So that's fine. But if things come to pass like you feel like they might, then that might not be true.
Am I?
Right. So,
Just saying, executive power is executive power, so it's going to be more than Trump that's been written, a sort of blank check here, I'm interested to see how that manifests.
mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's not just Trump that gets a blank check, is it? Or is it just Trump that gets a blank check?
Dude,
That ruling over the summer where they said,
such a great question.
was it just the president, or does that extend to people acting in his... Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
I'm curious how that manifests.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
And I just think that we're not the same, but we operate with the same mindset. Like, man, like, you gotta really contextualize the priorities that the air you're giving to certain things. Like, it just feels dumb. It just feels dumb. Who else is in the Hall of Fame and being canceled, but toss my salad, you weren't? It's like Aaron Rodgers. I always bring up Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh God, who else?
And it always exacerbates it when they are victims themselves. It's like, oh my, or they act like they're victims. It's like, oh my God, wouldn't I love to be Aaron Rodgers as a victim? Like, are you serious, man?
Plenty of comedians who would claim they've been canceled and they're just fine.
I do think that there's a certain area to comedy that is going to offend people, and that tends to push a lot of comedians down a right-wing path, which we've actually seen in the internet age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, George Carlin did it best. Focus on punching up. Don't lose focus on punching up. You can punch down for laughs in a private venue, this or that, amongst your friends. Like, I've done that. Like, there's context to everything that's fine. But when you're Dave Chappelle and you put out big Netflix specials and you're just punching down on trans people, it's kind of gross, bro. It's kind of gross. And you've got to focus on punching. It's a big club and you ain't in it. You ain't in it. You got to punch up. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that pro-working class illusion is going to fade within the first 2 years of Trump's presidency. So we'll see what the response to that is. That's the thing that upsets me, is I'm just unbelievably upset at the Democrats for losing in 16 and losing in 24, because both of those elections were extremely winnable, and they managed to just cock it all up. And they just are completely ignoring one of the biggest movements they've ever had in their base, and that is Bernie Sanders and the rhetoric that he brings, but they don't want to commit to that. I don't know if that's because they think that's not truly a winning strategy, or if they're truly that beholden to the people that pay for their elections. So I don't know.
Did you see that Twitter thread where AOC asked why people voted for her and Trump, and they were like, dude, you guys' code is anti-establishment. That's what it is.
Right.
That's what it is. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And people, I don't think people are as, I think I'm learning with Trump, I don't think people are as anti-government as I thought in this country. It's just anti-establishment, and government gets lumped in with that,
Right.
and you have to communicate in a way where it breaks through
Right.
through from that. You have to. I look
Yes.
forward to
There's lots
AOC's
of
future
people-
career if things don't burn straight to the ground. But there's other
We'll
other.
see, man. We'll see if Democrats run a woman again for a little bit. It might be a bit, because you're 0 for 2 now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just think that I'm not going to say Kamala would have won, but if she hits the ground running on Medicare for all, eat my shit. And again, your point is taken that money would have been less. That's fine. That's fine. And money does matter. It does. But when you're going to take the money anyways and lose, what are we doing here? You got to hit that ground running, and you got to say
Sure.
Medicare for all. I do not care. I do not care. We are single payer healthcare. Eat it. Eat it. So I don't even know if that gets her to win. All the complexities that go into 150 million people voting for something, it's tough, but you got to at least try. So I'm with you that who knows if they'll run another woman, but I'm fine if they do as long as they hit the ground running and say, hey, we're here to give healthcare to everyone, period. End of story.
Right.
And you got to be the party that's like, we're paying for it with an extra tax. Yes, we have a deficit. People can bullshit about the deficit when I say Medicare for all, but no, people are going to go from paying health insurance companies to just paying the government less and get more, because that's proven with every other country that's single payer. You know, and I know, because Bernie says it 100 million times, we pay more than other countries and get less.
Yep.
And to me, that's because of that.
Facts.
So you just got to hammer away. And then when they bring up deficit, you say, it doesn't matter the deficit. Nope, I'm going to don't worry about that. I'll cut the military, bitch. Oh, you watch me. You feel me? I would cut that shit right in half. Right in half. And be like, you better start passing audits or I'm just going to slash more and more every year. You dumbasses.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, what are you going to say to me? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
People, how are we going to, lead the world? I'm fine
Yes, right.
with
Are
leading
your
the
woke
world.
Soldiers gonna. Sorry.
Well, that was a good comment. But I'm fine with leading the world in a way where we're doing what's best for our people and we're showing that to the rest of the world. I'm not okay with spending a bunch on military and chucking bases everywhere. There's different ways to lead.
Sure. Also,
I'm
not okay
fine
with
with-
just like
Oh, go ahead.
the rolling blank checks that get given to industries. Because yeah, we spend a lot of money, but man, how efficient is our money being spent? You really got to ask.
You got to audit it
yourself.
all. Oh, see, and this is where
Right.
if we ran for
Right.
something, people would be like, "Oh, you code right wing in some ways." It's like, I don't care what you're labeling it. We got to figure this shit out. Like Doge in theory is okay. Obviously, it's being run by morons in my opinion. But in theory, it's fine.
Sure.
It's like great. Like,
Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could you figure out a way to get a lot of federal employees off the payroll who just kind of run paperwork by like improving a big investment into improving stuff and automating stuff, and then that same investment also sets aside money to train these people to find other jobs. We're not abandoning anyone, but we're changing and we're moving forward, helping the people. It just feels too easy. But whatever, man. It's not. I know it's not. But it feels too easy for me. Also, I was going to say, I wonder what you think of this, and we can wrap up soon. I don't mind giving weapons to a place like Ukraine. You serious? Of course. I don't want boots on the ground, but I have no problem supporting Ukraine. Of course not. Russia's awful, terrible, and it sets a dangerous precedent. Of course it does, to let them take sovereign territory. So things like that can also be a way to lead. Fine. That's fine. But this shit where you have 800 bases everywhere and people are just there, no. We ain't about it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? How do you feel about Ukrainian support? Real quick.
Oh, I'm totally fine with Ukrainian
Yeah.
support. I mean, people.
People
I don't
we gave
know, I
$100
feel like a
billion.
lot of-
We gave them $100 billion of weapons, you morons. Of weapons.
Right, of weapons that have been sitting around that we overproduce anyways because we pay
Correct.
too much for our military. But
Look at that context. Look at your beautiful context. Yeah, you're right. It's true, man.
It's funny that you could paint. Like, I understand, the NATO argument of that, but like how anyone can fully justify Russia just going in there wanting to take Ukraine as a whole is, I don't know how you can justify that.
What's the justification to the NATO one? I also have one. But you go first.
NATO's been encroaching for years, and Russia's been warning them that, what was it? Some country joining was a red line, yada, yada.
Yep.
This is incitement from NATO in the West, so they had to take Ukraine. But I also love that Russia they also throw in the Nazis in
It's so
eastern
dumb.
Ukraine or some
dumb.
some mercenary group or something. I
There
don't
was
understand
there
what it is.
was some small faction of Nazis, but again, this is where you can expose the smokescreen, at least to people who might know context. It was so few of them, and you're gonna, it's just like,
Right,
was,
so we have
was
to take the
Nazi
whole country
ideology
because there's a-
exactly? You got it.
Right,
You got it.
right.
So stupid, man. Oh, bad people are everywhere. You tell me. I am shocked. Oh, it's like, no, I'm not. There's bad people. Like, you serious? One bad person in New York. Should we burn it all down? No, it's ridiculous. I feel like most of the conversation we had tonight is just the smokescreen and how it really can blind people, and it's hard. It's hard.
Indeed, it is.
I don't even think if Trump won, I wonder what our motivation would be to bullshit, like this, which I enjoy, of course, but it's like, or sorry, if Kamala won, sorry.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
feels like Jesus, man, like. But also in the opposite vein, which you kind of, I don't want to say educated me on, but opened my eyes to a little bit. I did get blinded by not hatred for Trump, but opposition to who Trump is as a con man, and I got blinded by that into supporting Kamala. I think to the point where I was thinking it would be better. She would be a better Democrat. I don't think that's true at all. I think post-election clarity, post-nut clarity, I don't think that's true at all. So
Don't call. Yeah.
we're unserious people. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she probably would have towed the line. Which again, like status quo is better than Trump, I think. But at this point, we get what we get, so we gotta just deal
Gun
with
to
it.
my head, I agree with you. But again, post-election clarity, I just don't know, man. Because
Yeah.
So I guess it's
Well, it
this.
feels like
I guess
nothing's
it's
gonna
this way. I
change
guess
for
it's
Democrats.
hopefully the hurt that we might feel for the next 4 years turns into making lives better for everyone in the future. If it doesn't, then I would look, if somehow JD Vance wins in 28, I might start to think, okay, now with all this clarity way after the fact, maybe Kamala, it would have been better. Do you get where I'm going here? Because like if it just keeps going worse and worse, it's like, and people die more and more, and it's just bad, man. Yeah. Reminds me of reading Late Stage Capitalism up to the election. These people hated Kamala to the point where, like, I feel like they wanted Trump to win. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's kind of how the pro-Palestine people felt. They were like, well, fuck it. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? I mean, objectively, one is way better than the other for your particular niche cause, but okay.
I know. And they would
sure.
tell you, well, it's not perfect. And I would say, look around, motherfucker. What's perfect? What's perfect? Like, what? Makes no sense. Make it make sense, and then I'll talk to you. But yeah.
There you go.
People get frustrated with when you say incremental progress. They're like, ugh. Okay, go to the woods and enjoy your utopia. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Like, it's the same thing with libertarians. Taxes are theft. Go to the woods, and nobody wants to see you ever again. Do it.
Right.
Don't
Don't
be
use
a
my
bitch.
roads.
Be about it.
Don't call the fire department.
Don't be a bitch. Be about it.
Don't use my water sanitation system. No,
Nope.
sir. That's a collective effort.
Nope. I'll deliver you
Yeah.
water. It might be shit water from my toilet, but hey, I'll give it to you.
There you go.
You got it.
There you go. A
And
little
they'll
upper
get what
deck
they,
action.
They'll get what they
You know what the upper deck is? Are you familiar?
A significant person in my life did not know what that was at one point, which is hilarious. So what is that? I'm like, oh, you don't know? I don't.
Oh, you
don't
don't
worry about
know,
it. Don't
bless.
worry about it. Yeah.
Well, you
can't
you gotta pull it. Just pull that move at one point, and then she'll learn. She'll know. She'll go, why does it stink in the upstairs bathroom for like a week straight?
What's this doing in here? It's like, remember I told you that term that you didn't know? I'm teaching you. Yeah. Anyway.
This is learning through experience.
As always, I think as we wrap up here, there's a lot of agreement, which is fine. I mean, I don't think this is for debate anyways. This is to bullshit and have a little fun. So, but yeah, there's mostly agreement, which for these topics I think is pretty typical. And yeah, we'll just have to see the way the next 4 years go. I think there's a little disagreement on what might happen. I think I almost hope what you say is true with the accelerationism. I just don't know if I believe it because I don't hear any concrete plans ever. And it's just
Well, we'll see. The response to a Trump second term is going to dictate a lot, I think, for this country.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what our
will it
response
open
is.
people's eyes to the idea that we believe, which is he's not going to help the inequality at all. Period. Stop. So
I agree. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that one's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, we'll see. People keep getting caught up in like so tired. Like the Democrats, the last thing I'll say is like the Democrats should be a big tent party insofar as the litmus test is economics. The rest of it, I don't care. You could be pro-life, but as long as you're economically, let's fight inequality, welcome to the tent. I don't give a shit.
Right.
You could hate trans people.
Sure.
I think you're gross and a bigot. But if you're on board with the economics, get in here. Because at the end of the day, free speech is free speech. I'm an adult, not a 5-year-old child. I can disagree with someone. But if the most prioritized thing that will help society we're in agreement on, welcome to the tent. Come on in. I don't care.
Sure.
I don't care.
That's
So,
what it's going to take. That is what it's going to take, is just a class, people reframing it as a class issue, not a culture issue.
I think I heard Kyle Kalinske say that like a week ago.
Sure.
in
I've
a
been saying it
similar
since
way, I think.
2016. It's the whole reason Bernie
But-
had any shot.
But yeah, again,
You know?
we both have been saying something to the effect, if not exactly that from you, sure, since forever.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, to me, that was the whole. That was the
Bernie
message.
movement, yeah. So if you were a Bernie bro, which was kind of a slanderous term in itself, well, I don't care, whatever,
Yeah,
free speech.
We love it.
But if you were a Bernie bro, then like, yeah, you got it. And
Yeah.
goddamn, I wish con men didn't code as anti-establishment changers, but here we are.
I mean, I guess you can take. Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So, anyways,
The problem's twofold because
Yeah.
it's obviously it's reframing it as a class thing, but also reaffirming or trying to build back up the faith in institutions. So it is a little double pronged there because that kind of
Mhm.
goes hands in hand. Because there's no faith. I mean, when it's there's no faith that the government can do anything right,
Mhm.
and it's hard to elect people who are looking to expand the
Which is so
government.
dumb
if
because the
that's
government's
sort
been
of
paying
the
Social
position.
Security forever and all, but whatever.
Yeah.
whatever.
Anyways. Yeah.
If the next 12 months even plays out the way Nord thinks, then everybody go out and buy those Jim Baker buckets where you can like eat
No.
forever, but then you can shit in the bucket after. It's like a
You shit in the
twofold. You know what I'm
bucket,
saying?
right.
Dig your bunker in your backyard. I have like
money well
1 inch
spent.
backyard. It's gonna be real tricky, but like I'll be out there. You see me? You need help? Let me know.
Well, push
Uh,
comes to shove, we'll liquidate everything, and everyone in the family will buy a compound, and we'll just go homestead. Is
There you
what
go.
we're gonna do. So
There you go, and I'll bring my buckets that are real convenient. And also, they're real convenient because when you eat that food, it makes you want to take a fucking shit, bro. You know, I don't know what the hell's in that, but it's the Jim Baker Show, and come shit. All right, that's enough this week. Appreciate you.
Incredible.